Welcome back, everyone. This segment is brought to you by M. Bombay Cigars. M. Bombay Cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best of the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the newly released M. Bombay Casera and M. Bombay Mora. M. Bombay Cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. And by A.J. Fernandez Cigars, makers of the San Latano. One of the most talked about cigars in recent years is now offered in a groundbreaking line extension, the San Latano Bull. The San Latano Bull features an extensively aged and hardy core of Nicaraguan long fillers, nestled beneath an attractive Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Housed in a cedar sleeve which depicts the outline of a bull, only solidifies this cigar as a full-flavored cigar. Removing the sleeve reveals a box-pressed cigar with a beautiful, oily, and smooth chocolate brown wrapper. The San Latano Bull burns nice and neat as it issues columns of smoke, hitting you with a wall of spice, followed by leather and cedar. This densely packed cigar intensifies in deep, rich flavors and becomes a flavor bomb halfway through, only getting better with each passing draw. Strong yet smooth and perfectly balanced, A.J. Fernandez, who many have called a tobacco prodigy, has somehow pushed the already spectacular San Latano line cigars forward with the Bull. A.J. Fernandez challenges you to take on the Bull, Cigar Snob's number 8 cigar for 2014. And by Age Selects, providing cigar enthusiasts with premium long filler cigars aged at least 5 years at an extraordinary price. The expert buyers at Age Selects go to the factories of major manufacturers and buy cigars that have been aged for years. The team at Age Selects inspects them, smokes them, and packages them up to ensure you are getting the best quality cigar to smoke. The best part is they are provided to you at an affordable price. Order them online at cigarfrontier.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. We've got our Stogies of the Week. Very excited, of course, this week to talk about what we've been smoking. Excuse me. Will, over to you to kick things off.
Well, you kind of teased on it at the beginning of the show.
I did.
About an unnamed cigar.
I did.
And, so I smoked...
I was kind of surprised, actually, at your rating of this cigar, Will, but I'll let you get into it.
Okay. And it was a cigar I really wanted to try. And you were kind enough to send it to me. It was the Unnamed Reserve 2014.
From Arturo Fuente?
From Arturo Fuente, yes. And I've been a big fan of the 2012 and the 2013.
As have I.
And the 14 is a 6x60. The wrapper looked very similar to the 13.
It did.
I can't say we don't know if it's the same blend or even if it is the same wrapper, but they look similar.
Controversial being a 60 ring.
Controversial being a 60 ring. Now, I thought this was a complex cigar. I thought there was a lot of complexity with this cigar. And I liked the way this thing started off. It started off great. I got some great sweetness right out of the gate with this cigar. I kind of thought the second half, it did some change-ups. I mean, a few times there was some notes of natural tobacco, grass, and then it kind of got earthy. And it lost that sweetness, and it kind of lost me at that point. I love the way. I wish it would have smoked the way it did for like that first half. The second half just wasn't quite as enjoyable with it. That being said, this wasn't a bad cigar. It's still a good cigar. But when I compare it to the 13 and the 12, I just didn't think it was up at that level. It's a pricey cigar. It's at $16 too. So I ended up putting it as a try one. I don't think, and by the way, I don't think this was a problem with this cigar being a 60 ring gauge. For whatever, I just think there was something with the blend. I don't know,
Will. I'm going to kind of counter that and say there are a lot of 60 ring gauge cigars that I smoke that do exactly as you describe. They're great in the first half. In the second half, they kind of don't hold up.
It's true.
I don't know if that's
right.
Yeah, I don't know if that speaks to the size. And I'll talk about a 60 ring cigar that I smoked this week that I really liked as well. The Unnamed Reserved is probably up there in my top 5 60 ring cigars that I've ever smoked. But you're right. It's tough for them to kind of keep up through the long haul. And I don't know if that speaks to the way they roll the size or whatever. But, I kind of hear what you're saying.
A lot of people like, and a lot of people I know you like. A lot of people like this cigar. Um, it's. I think if you're a Fuente guy, you're gonna like this cigar.
Yeah.
I think if you're a Fuente geek, you're gonna want to try this cigar. You owe it to try it. It's not something I wouldn't recommend. Just like I said, for at a $16 point, I kind of wanted that experience to really kind of go on. And I've had 60s that can go for the long haul, so to speak.
Mm.
So I just didn't think this one did. I had one cigar. I should disclaim this was a one smokes I had of this one. So
Now,
you
Mr.
never know.
J's Havana Smoke Shop has these in stock. They've got
Wow.
a whole bunch of them. They're in the case. I went there the other day. It's kind of interesting. Yeah,
That's
so you can
good.
call up if you want to try this one. That's definitely the place to get them. They've got great prices, and you can call up Stogie Santa or the Nate is one of the other guys that works there. He's a huge Stogie geek, and they have plenty of unnamed reserves. The last I checked, so I think this is one that wasn't a big seller for them because it has that weird combination of being a 60 ring, but the unnamed reserve being, I think, marketed towards Stogie geeks who don't necessarily gravitate towards that size. Had this been a Corona size, I think they would have sold out in the first couple of weeks they put them to market like they did the other two sizes of unnamed reserve.
Yep. I would definitely agree with you on that. And maybe it's also a little of a product right now, and I think we're starting to see a little of the gravitation away from the 60 ring gauges and the 70s.
I think there's still a market for them. I just don't think it's the person who will seek after the direct-to-store release or the limited release from cigar manufacturers.
Yep. No, I
That's
agree.
my assessment. So,
Good point.
I smoked in Emilio Cigars Miadora Corona size. I don't know where this one came from. I think it
Me.
might have come from the rep. Did it come from you?
It came from me. I sent you
Okay.
that one. I'm positive I did.
This was a try one in my book. I just didn't. And it's interesting. I read some reviews on the cigar that were very favorable after I had smoked it, and I kind of got to thinking like maybe I missed something. But this flavor profile was just not in my wheelhouse, at all. It kind of suffered from that. It didn't know what it wanted to do with itself. So I kind of wasn't feeling it.
Paul, I'm completely 100% in agreement with you on
Okay,
that.
I wasn't sure if you were going to say, my rocker, but yeah.
And look, I love a lot of Gary's stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
This
in
one-
fact, the other, no, it's not the other. Sorry, never
Well,
mind.
it's-
Scratch that.
Well, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was a very one-dimensional, boring cigar. The Miadora.
Yeah,
And I saw some of these reviews, and I keep going. I don't know what I was missing with it.
I
It's a
thought
try
I
one.
was missing
It
something
is
after
a try
reading the
one.
reviews, dude. But
No,
I didn't like it. I mean, I can't like every cigar that I smoke, and I don't like to completely trash someone's cigar because everyone works hard to make their cigar. So I give everyone a fair shake. But this one just wasn't in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why I sent it to you. I haven't reviewed it yet, but that's what my assessment was of that. And I've had it in a couple of sizes too. I sent you the Corona, and yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that.
And a lot of times, a Corona in a particular blend will be something that I'm like, well, at least it's flavor-wise something that presents me something where I'm like, oh, this is enjoyable. I could smoke this cigar. Maybe there's different sizes in this line. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, there are some different sizes, but I've kind of
you've
they've all
smoked
kind of
them.
I've smoked that and the Robusto,
Mm-hmm.
and they both, like I said, I found them I found them very one-dimensional, and I was wondering if I was missing something on that.
Right. I thought the same thing.
Yep.
Interesting. Back to you, Will.
We talked about this cigar last week with Andre Farkas on the show. Be sure to check out that episode, by the way. A lot of stuff that Andre talked about
Absolutely.
came to light this week. So, but I smoked the cigar, the Chicharrones, Senor Andres Chicharrones, which is a line he's done with his three staple wrappers I talked about. He's done one in a Corojo wrapper, one in a Criollo wrapper, and one in a Maduro wrapper. And this one is called the original. So he's kind of going with that theme of the chicharrones, which I think I mentioned last week. I had it in Honduras. It's like a pork rind kind of snack. Um, and he has, like I said, the original is kind of a take, I guess, on more of the original. Um, it's a Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, and it's all Nicaraguan, made at the Tabsa factory in Nicaragua, and it's a 4x48 Rothschild, and it's actually for Viaje reasonably priced, 7.95, which you don't for Viajes you don't see a lot of Viajes in the 7.95 range. They tend to be a little
Mm.
more pricey. Um, I think overall it was a nice cigar. It had some floral notes in there, some natural tobacco, a little black pepper. There was a little bit of a raisin prune sweetness that was present early on. It's a medium to full in strength and body. It gets the full towards the end, so but it's not going to overpower you in either way. My gut's telling me with this cigar, it's going to be really good in a year. It's a fiver right now, but something just tells me this cigar's going to mellow a little bit, and these flavors going to. It was ready to smoke. I don't want to say this was a young cigar. It's ready to smoke. It's worthy of a fiver, but I just have a feeling my gut's just telling me I want to smoke this again in 6 months.
Yeah, and we talked about that
Yeah,
with Andre as well about how
and I've
some
seen
of
some
his
of Andre's
cigars.
cigars
Yeah,
get really good, and
absolutely.
but this was not a young cigar by any means. And if you're a fan of Viaje, it's a reasonably priced cigar to go try.
I smoked an M. Bombay Mora #4, and I thought this was a really good cigar. In fact, I think I lit this up very early on in the day, and I'm kind of noticing that when I deviate from my normal kind of like breakfast cigar and I smoke something that might be a little more full bodied, fuller strength than what I'm normally smoking, I tend to kind of pick up a lot more flavors. And I want to kind of mention that as kind of like I'll try and do that when I do smoke some of these cigars earlier on in the day. Like, for example, I smoked an El Triunfador Lancero like as my first cigar of the day today. And I picked up a lot more of the flavors that go along with that. So it's kind of an interesting experiment I'm doing is smoking different cigars at different times of the day and incorporating that in my reviews. I think it makes a difference, Will, when you smoke some of these cigars on a fresh palate. And this is when I smoked on a fresher palate. I think I really got a lot of those flavors. And this was very good. I rated this a box split. And I thought this was just fantastic. It kind of had that caramel sweetness, nice balance of spice. It was a very, very good cigar and awesome size too. And you say this size was limited, Will, or
It's
new?
new.
It's
It's
new.
coming out.
Yeah.
I don't think the 4 is out yet in the Mora. The Mora is one, and we're gonna, by the way, Mbappe, one of our sponsors, and when again, we like, a lot of our sponsors, we talked about this with Phil. We want to believe in their product. This is a really good product, this and the Casera. But the 4 is not out yet from what I understand. Um, so I know we'll have Mel Shaw, who's the owner of the company, on at some point. We'll get him on the show to talk about these cigars. But I have not seen the 4 out yet.
Mm.
He's got a Lancero. He's got that in a 8.5 by 38 Lancero, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big cigar.
Did I send you the Lancero?
Yeah, you did. I think we're going to smoke it when he comes on the show.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do.
Does that have a kind of a shaggy foot?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the one we're going to smoke on the show.
Yep. So it's a Super Lancero. Yeah, and he's got a Toro out as well. I know that.
Mm. I'm looking forward to smoke that. Back to you, Will.
So it's another one of our sponsors, Age Selects. I went and smoked a cigar. I know when you talked about the Age Selects, you smoked this one. It was the Habano Oscuro Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
So folks, again, we talk about Age Selects. They make value price long filler cigars. So I mean, you can get a bundle of these for $50 of 20. You can actually go to our site and you could click where to buy them. But what they do is Age Selects goes into the factories and they see what they could find. And there's a lot of cigars that sit around in these factories and they find them and they're procuring some of them. And this is one of the blends that they've been able to do. It's a Nicaraguan Puro. And this was a 7x47 Churchill. I'll tell you what, for Churchill, and we've talked about this. Sometimes, again, cigars that run out of gas, sometimes Churchills, I just find they're too long. It could be you could have too big a cigar ring gauge, but you can also have too long a cigar. This one smoked great from start to finish. It had a lot of sweetness in it. More of a cherry sweetness in the first half. It went to more of a coffee flavor in the second half. There's an underlying creaminess and cedar to it. It held its flavor right until the end. It's a milder cigar. I've had a couple of the other ones. This one's more mild to medium in strength to start, and maybe goes to medium strength. It's not going to overpower you. Again, I have it as a bundle, block split, whatever you want to call it. For you're looking at something that's 250 a cigar.
Yeah.
And I'll
For
tell you
that
what,
price point, I tell you what, they make great cigars.
they do, and
Yeah.
they really do. And we talk about golf course cigars. I wouldn't want to take this on the golf course. I'd probably want to just sit back and enjoy this. The Churchill was a nice size for it.
Yep. This is my smoke of the week, and we talked about another House of Emilio cigar that kind of was in my wheelhouse. This one was absolutely my wheelhouse. In fact, it's the one I mentioned at the very beginning of the show as being impressed. I was impressed by it in that it's one of the best new cigars that I've smoked this year so far. And it comes from Nomad, and this is a gift from the new local representative for House of Emilio, Alex. And this is the Nomad Esteli Lot 1863. I don't know a lot about this blend.
8613. 8613.
8613, what did I say? Oh, I had it backwards in there. It's an 8613. Thank you. This blend is awesome, Will. Do you know anything about this blend yet?
Yeah, so what this cigar, this is Fred just released this cigar literally a few weeks ago. It's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler. And it's made at Tabacalera Fernandez.
I tell you what, you definitely get the Nicaraguan notes in this, and it's one of the best Nicaraguan cigars I've smoked this year that's new for 2015. The balance of the sweetness that you get. What did you say the wrapper was?
Ecuadorian Habano.
I
Which
think
Fred
that
loves working with that wrapper.
I think that Ecuadorian Habano is producing the sweetness, and I think that Nicaraguan binder and filler is giving you kind of that twang and that little bit of spice. And the complement of the two, he did a fantastic job blending this cigar. It is absolutely awesome, Will. Have you smoked this one? I called it a box split, dude. And normally there's a lot of cigars coming out of Nicaragua, especially ones, that may have different wrappers but have Nicaraguan binder and filler. And I'm kind of hypercritical of them. This one stood out in the pack, and I was really super impressed. I think he did a great job. I rated it a box split. Extremely enjoyable cigar.
What size did you have? The Robusto?
No, this was a long one. This was probably a Toro.
Okay, so he has a 6x50 Toro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this just came out, and the other thing he's using in that blend is Ometepe tobacco, which Fred, when he was on the show, I think that was the week you were traveling. He kind of talked about because he's used Ometepe in his C276 blend, which is a very good one as well. It's a little bolder. I haven't had this one, but he likes working with that Ometepe tobacco, which I think also is imparting some of the sweetness on that blend.
Yep. Great job. I was impressed. And in that, like I said, new blends coming out don't normally do that for me this year. I've been kind of, like I said, a little more critical. Maybe as they get older and a little more grumpy or something. I don't know, but this one definitely stood out. So it's one you want to look for sure.
Absolutely. Like I said, that's on my list. I have not seen it in the stores here yet. I'm gonna be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, and again, this was a gift from the local cigar representative, Alex, who represents House of Emilio here in Rhode Island. So I want to thank him for that, and I look forward to this being available in the stores because I'm going to buy some more.
No, it's a very impressive looking cigar. I'm looking at the wrap, very smooth, oily wrapper.
It is, yeah, and the construction was great. I mean, just the cigar had everything going for it, dude.
Yep.
Back to you, Will.
This was a cigar gifted to me from Burns Tobacconist in Chattanooga, Pennsylvania. Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm thinking Pennsylvania with Jason. And they actually contacted me, and a guy by the name of Dave Jones, who runs Leaf Enthusiast website. I'm a big fan of his work, and he also works at Burns Tobacconist, and he wanted me to review a cigar that they got exclusive. And he was kind enough to reach out to us, called actually me, because I smoked both of them, Paul.
That's okay.
Good. Yeah, but I wish I could have gave you one of these. I have to get some more of them. It's a La Aurora Cien Años Lancero with a Cameroon wrapper.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. And basically what Dave told me is they took the Cien Años blend and they wrapped it in Cameroon, put it into a Lancero. So it's that core blend that is famous for the Cien Años. Fantastic cigar. Um, Look, I'm not gonna put it up there with the Cien Años Maduro, which is kind of an Oasis level cigar, but this is a box
Hmm.
worthy cigar, all the way. And I think this is a really, really good Cameroon cigar. If you like those three components of Lancero, Cameroon wrapper, and the Cien Años blend, it's this cigar just comes together with that. You can go to BurnsTobacconist.com to order these. They're $11.99, worth every cent with this cigar. You're gonna get that Cameroon sweetness. You're gonna get a little of those spices that you get from the Cien Años, a little of that boldness from it. Um, so it's a really nice cigar. It's not an I say boldness, but not a nicotine bomb. It's not gonna get more than medium in strength. So really enjoyable. I want to get this in your hands, Paul, because I'm real
Yeah, I
curious.
really want to smoke one of these for sure.
Yep, yep. And I love what they did. They put a secondary band with Burns Tobacconist on it. So I love when a shop exclusive does that
Yeah,
because
it's pretty
it really
classy.
helps. Yeah, it identifies it.
I agree.
Yep.
I smoked another 60 ring. Will, it's interesting you smoked the Arturo Fuente. I smoked the EP Carrillo Short Run 2013. I want to. Do they call this a Gordo or do they call it something different?
Um, they call it something different.
I don't remember what they called it. I gotta
Yeah,
update the show notes. It was
yeah.
it was something different, right?
It was something different. But I'm interested to hear what you had to say about it in that size.
This was again one that in the first half, Will, absolutely phenomenal. And then in the second half, it just wasn't as good. It was still good, but it just wasn't as good. And again,
Double
even at
Robusto. Double Robusto, they
double
call it.
Robusto, even at a fiver, I would still say it's in like my top five, 5 or 6 60 rings that I've ever smoked. Just the flavors that come off this cigar. Like I remember talking to Aaron, one of our employees here. He happened to be here when I was smoking it, and I was like, "Dude, this cigar is so good." Like I was kind of distracted. I'm like, "This cigar is absolutely fantastic," especially in that first half. Just the sweetness flavors and the balance really comes through. Excuse me, even in the 60 ring, but awesome. In age, I mean, these things are aging awesome. If you have 2013 short runs, I got to go back through my humor to see if I've got any of the other sizes. Fantastic. I mean, he just did a fantastic job with this blend.
I think the 13 might be my favorite of the line. I know a lot of people go back to the 10, which also they both use Sumatra wrapper.
This
But
is, and I think it's amped up a little bit, which is probably why it's aging so well.
yeah, I found that to be. I mean, I know Stogie Santa was a big fan of the 13 as well. I
Yeah,
think it's one of the best short run to come out.
I agree. I get to go see if I've got any more left of the other sizes.
I think yeah. I mean, I thought it was good in that 52 ring gauge was the one I really gravitated to.
Absolutely. Back to you, Will.
This was my smoke of the week, and it's a potential smoke of the year that I'm going to talk about. I don't know
Ooh,
if it's going to be my number one cigar, but man, was it good. And I came close to dropping the Oasis rating on it. I've smoked a bunch of these. It is the new Casada cigar, the Casada Reserva Privada. Um, so the story with this cigar is, and first of all, I got to thank the folks from Casa de Monte Cristo who sent these to me, by the way. And I smoked through them all, and I ended up buying more of them. My local shop got them, so I've smoked about 7 or 8 of these right now. And
really?
this is, and this was I started smoking these right before I went to Honduras. This is a cigar I definitely got to get. This is a cigar I actually want to smoke on the show too. I
Is
think.
this the Corona?
No, it's the Robusto.
Okay.
So what this is what they did is it contains tobacco that's 18 years old. Now, I was a little skeptical about when I hear stuff about that.
Yeah, can
I've
we
heard
give
of,
it a
but they do tell the whole story. There's a very good story, and I have it right up on Cigar Coop. I'll just really summarize it. Is in '97, Manuel Casada saw some tobacco, and he saw something about this tobacco in terms of the way the plants were growing, how the leaves were kind of spread, and he went to his father and he said, "We got to put this tobacco in away." So they literally put these things into. They harvested the tobacco. They put them into these bales, and they wrapped the bales with palm tree bark. and then wrap the whole thing around palm leaves, and they put it in, I guess, an area of the factory. And the idea is with by protecting it like that, it allowed for a natural fermentation as it aged.
Hmm.
And then I guess his daughters were chomping at the bit to get to the tobacco. And finally they got to it and they produced this blend. It's an Ecuadorian Connecticut cigar. It's got the Dominican binder from that 1997 crop, and it's got fillers that also are from that 1997 crop, as well as a touch of Pennsylvania Lajero
Hmm.
in there. This cigar is really, really. I just can't say enough about this cigar. It starts off very classic Ecuadorian Connecticut, wood cream and black pepper, and then the flavors just pop out on this thing. Floral spice, cedar, and then it's like this wild berry note is the best way I can call it.
Interesting.
And I asked a few people, "Are you getting this note?" They're saying, "Yeah, they're getting this note." It's not an overpowering cigar. It's going to be mild to medium to go to medium, but the flavors going to have a little weight on the palate there. I loved it. It was right up there with the Corona, the Casada Corona, which was last year one of my top smokes. My only drawback with this cigar, they burn fast. They don't burn bad, but for these, I mean, this was a 4 3/4 by 52 Robusto, and I was smoking these in like 40 minutes. For whatever reason, they just burned fast for me. So I was a little hesitant to put the Oasis
That's
rating
like
on it.
that Tatawahe jar release. I find they burn fast too,
They
but the
burn
flavors are
fast,
amazing. Yeah.
but the flavors are big. Yeah, so I went with a Chuck Norris. I mean, I think this cigar will blow you away. It's one of the
And
best
now,
cigars I've had this year.
how is this cigar distributed, Will? Is it a limited? Is it a store release or?
So what they're doing is it's a limited production until they run out, and they're literally they pick some select retailers where they're sending 3 boxes of 3 sizes each month, and then
Mm-hmm.
at the trade show they're going to open up it to a wider amount of accounts, and it's only going to be produced until the 1997 tobacco runs out. So they have said that, and I've heard a few interviews with Terrence Riley, and there's a video on my website from Manuel Casado as well. It talks about this. Um, it's and you can get to it from the Stogie feed as well. So it's not gonna be forever. But they showed this cigar off at Pro Cigar, and a lot of people down by me are really loving this cigar right now.
Interesting. And what's the name of it again?
The Casada Reserva Privada.
Reserva Privada.
Casada Reserva Privada. It rolls right off your tongue.
Yeah, huh? I smoked another EP Carrillo cigar, and this is the short run from 2015. These
I
just
haven't had this one yet.
Yeah, these just landed in the shop. If you can't find them, let me know, Will. I'll send you some because they're regularly available here locally. I smoked the Robusto size. I called this one a box split, dude. This cigar is awesome. I think it's still a little young. I think age is going to be extremely kind to this cigar. I think the flavors are going to meld. I think the sweetness is going to come out. I wouldn't say it's like so young you don't want to smoke it. Not by any stretch. You want to smoke these now. I think you want to buy some to put away. I think this is one of his better short runs. I think time will tell kind of where it falls. But this is a special cigar, and if you're in a cigar shop that has them, you should definitely buy some. I really, really enjoyed this. I bought 10 sight unseen, and I want to go back and buy more. Great spice, balanced with sweetness kind of cigar. It's got kind of this like dark, almost fruity kind of component to it that comes off the wrapper, I believe. Criollo 98. Just an awesome cigar. Great release by EP Carrillo.
I'm looking forward to trying that with the Criollo wrapper. That's a new one.
Awesome. Dude, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely one I want to try.
Again, it's one of those ones that I'm like, age is going to make this thing even better. I'm like, it's really good now, but I'm like, age is just going to knock this one out of the park.
Gut, and a lot of people ask us, how do we know that? I get asked that a lot. We don't, but sometimes your gut just tells you.
Your gut just, yeah. For this cigar to be that good, you can just tell that they're going to, the tobacco's got a little more time to meld together. And I don't know what prompts me to say that. It's a feeling, right?
Yep, nope, I agree.
Back to you, Will.
I'm done.
So I smoked a Nat Sherman Host Churchill.
I haven't had that in a while.
Have you smoked? Yeah. So I've never
the sweet tip one.
Yeah, I noticed a sweet tip on it because I kind of I tend to wet the cap, right? I put it in my mouth and wet it before I clip it. It's just kind of a habit I got into to make sure it doesn't crack. And I was like, oh, I'm like, they get a sweet tip on this. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I haven't seen that in a long time. And amazing cigar in the first third. I mean, the first third in this cigar will really hit you with a blast of flavor. The unfortunate thing for the cigar is it gets kind of bland throughout the rest of the cigar. And this is a super mild cigar. This is like your first cigar of the day, like before you have breakfast kind of cigar. And those flavors in the first third really wake up your senses. I found in this Churchill size that it didn't really hold up in the flavor department the whole way through. They do make this in a Robusto as well as a couple other sizes, and I got the Robusto. So I'm kind of anxious to try the Robusto because I think it's going to hold up in the flavor department a little more. The price point on these, though, is like $5, $6 for this cigar. So this is like a take it out on the boat first thing in the morning when, I was talking to Tom Joyle, Paul's son. He's like, yeah, opening day for fishing. I took this out first thing in the morning, 5 a.m. And he's like, it was really good. And that's where these cigars fall.
Did Mr. J's have these?
Yeah, they're stocking the Robusto and the Churchills now.
I would definitely check this cigar out.
At like around the $5 price point, dude. So, I mean, that's like really good. And I mean, for Nat Sherman, the construction was awesome. The burn, the draw, everything about it, flavor profile. To get a Nat Sherman at that price point, I think is really, really special.
Yeah, this is a pre-Michael Herklotz cigar. And I used to smoke these. I was on a kick for these a while, and I it's been a while. I have to remember if the Churchill. I think from what I remember, you're pretty much spot on. They tend to have more of the flavor early on with these cigars, but they're for a price point, well made. They're kind of hidden cigars in the Nat Sherman portfolio.
They are. I also smoked another Nat Sherman that Mr. J's got in, which is a Nat Sherman University. Have you had these before?
Yeah, I've had this one. I used to smoke a lot of these, yeah.
It's a broadleaf.
Yep.
I smoked, you'll see the picture that looks like a Toro size. I smoked the Robusto size. This was good. It was a little dry on the palate. I think age will probably solve that issue for you. Not a bad cigar. Again, these are very reasonably priced. I thought it was a good cigar. Again, I think for the money to get a Nat Sherman for that, $5, $6 price point and have it burn like that and have a good flavor profile, I'm calling this one a $5. Yep. Let's see. Oh, this was probably one of my other smokes of the week, dude. So I rated this one box worthy. It's probably one of my other highest ratings for the week. This was the Elohio LSV Robusto. And I kind of went back to the Elohio line a little bit. And this one, the flavors were just spot on. And I think these needed to kind of settle out since they came into, the shop. Awesome Robusto cigar. I mean, really dynamic flavors, very crisp, clean flavor profile. I would buy a box of these. That's why I rate a box worthy. I mean, this is like your everyday, really full flavored cigar, not overly strong. Love this LSV Robusto. And
it's really good in the Robusto. I agree.
Yeah, and I don't think I rated it that highly when I first smoked it, but a little bit of age on these has really kind of catapulted it into that next level.
No, I would agree with you on that.
And again, to round up my list, I smoked an El Triunfador Lancero. I think this cigar is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm still putting it as a $5 because the flavor profile for me, it just doesn't, I don't know, maybe I got a higher standing because it's Tatuaje, but it just didn't wow me, dude. I don't know. Some people rate this Triunfador Lancero way higher than this, but for me, it's a $5. I think the flavors are good. It smokes okay for a Lancero. I had to relight it a couple times, but for me, it's a $5.
I agree. I mean, I like the broadleaf Lancero a lot with the brown band.
Yes.
I like that one much better. I would agree.
Oh, that's the Especial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Especial a lot.
Yeah. And that's the only size he makes the El Triunfador is in a Lancero. Is this from the sampler pack?
No, this is regular production now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I know they make it regular, but I didn't know if it was part of the. I know it was part of the sampler pack.
Yeah, no, I bought this one regular production. Havana Cigar Club has you get an additional 10% off when it's that brand for that day. So when Elohio and Tatuaje come up, I tend to buy them because that's kind of in my wheelhouse. Now, Tatuaje, traditionally, the past couple times they've come up on special, I've bought the ones I like to smoke. I buy the Nueva Reserva. I buy the 7th Reserva, the 7th Kappa, the Kohonu 2003, the ones that I've traditionally loved to smoke. This time around when Tatuaje came up, I smoked the Avion Reserva, which I thought was really good. I smoked that today. Actually, that was pretty good. I'll probably review that in a future show. I picked up a Fausto, the Triumphador. I picked up, they still have the Jekyll Halloween release. I want to see how that's doing.
Great cigar.
I haven't smoked that. I bought one because I got the discount on it. So I picked up a bunch of Tatuajes that I don't normally smoke just to see what they're doing, just to kind of mix it up a bit. So we're not talking about the same cigar every week, basically, because I can smoke Nueva Reservas till the cows come home, and I'm going to be happy. So
yeah, and check out the Havana Cigar Club's Facebook page. They advertise what that special is going to be. So you should definitely check that out. They've had some good brands on there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool. You want to get caught up with contests, Will?
Yeah. Yep, we do that. I have to see if we picked the winner from last week. We'll check that after the show.
I think we did.
Yep. What are we giving away this week?
Chris picked a winner.
Okay, so Chris picked the winner. Okay, so we're covered with that.
What are we giving away? I have another. Oh, we can give away 5 of the direct-to-store release from Aromacraft to Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, the Intemperance.
Oh, the Revenge.
The Revenge, thank you.
All right, so I think we got to have a little bit of a tougher question.
Yeah, because those are not easy to find unless you're calling up Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop. So we're going to have 5 of those and a Smoke Naked T-shirt. Will, what's the question?
Okay. Phil Zengi is releasing a cigar, a 9x52 cigar. I want to know the wrapper on that cigar.
Nice. The wrapper on the 9x52 Phil Zengi cigar. Email the show at stogygeeks.com. We'll give you a $5 of the Intemperance Revenge.
You can be generic with the wrapper, too. You can give me the generic name is fine, too.
Yeah. We'll give you a $5 of the Intemperance Revenge and a Smoke Naked T-shirt. Email to the show at stogygeeks.com. First one in wins. So if you're listening live, you can submit. If you're listening on the video that's published on Friday, you can submit in case we didn't get a live show answer. If you're listening to the audio on Monday, you can submit as well in case we didn't get an answer from the video that was posted on Friday. So you never know. Keep your submissions coming.
Yep. And then just one note, next week, you're not going to want to miss next week. We have scheduled Robert Caldwell. There ain't a hotter name in the cigar business right now.
Yeah, I've liked a lot of his stuff that he's come out with. So
what a year and a half he's had.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're catching up with him because he was on a long time ago when he was at Wynwood. So there's a lot to catch up with him on.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for watching. That's been this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. We'll see everyone next week. Take care, everyone.